Devil Fruit Awakenings are the peak of power for all Devil Fruit users in the One Piece world, and very few actually get to this level. Many people try, but only end up using a fraction of their Devil Fruit's real ability. But what is it? When we try to speculate what the powers have in common, and what they can do, what possible future users might be able to do with all the different fruits Oda has created, it seems almost impossible to find a common thread. But in this video, I'm going to propose what exactly is going on and how to find and speculate on future Devil Fruit users and what Oda has in store for them as well. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. Before I get into it though, I should say that there are spoiler warnings for people who may not be up to date with the manga. I'll put a specific chapter for where you need to be to watch this without spoilers in the description, so go check that out. And you know, if the anime catches up, then that will be the equivalent there for the episodes. But you know, if you don't care, if you're up to date, if you're safe, then cool, go ahead with this video. If not, continue at your own risk. Now, I think a common thing with One Piece that we often forget when a lot of people look into it very critically and look at the deep themes and meanings, that One Piece is incredible not because it is so deep and profound in a lot of the messages and scenarios it puts us through, but really because it can be enjoyed on a simple level as well. There are so many casual viewers of the series who don't care for all the deep meanings and allegories, and they just watch it because it's fun, it's goofy, and the powers are cool. And because One Piece can be enjoyed in these two levels, I think we should always remember the fact that that's just how it is. So even the ideas and powers in the story will be on these two levels. A very simple level at which you can really just extrapolate what's going on in the series, and a much deeper, more creative level at which everything's extracted and, you know, inspiration is maybe gained and things are subtly hinted at. The perfect example is Luffy's fruit. At the core of it is the gum fruit, right? Stretching is what it does. And then Oda just takes that and goes far and above and beyond to make Luffy stretch in all sorts of ways we've never seen. But at the end of the day, it's just the ability to stretch. And I think Awakening works the same way. Awakening, Haki, maybe even creating a black blade. At the end of the day, it might all just be the same concept. The concept of coating. Going back all the way to when we learned about Haki for the first time, the one Haki that was mentioned to be really about coating was Armament Haki. You put in armor, you coat yourself in an armor made of your will, your resolve, and all that kind of stuff, and it protects you and enables you to fight. Recently, we found out as well that you can do the same thing with your Supreme King Haki, and that enables you to fight even at an even higher level and really just do the same thing, kind of, but better. Point is, if it's true for Haki, why can't it be true for other abilities such as the Awakening? For a long time, people speculated with powers like Doflamingo and Karakuri, because they expressly said they had Awakening, that potentially what the Awakening was to make objects around you have the attributes of your Devil Fruit. Doflamingo turns buildings to string, so his Awakening is turning stuff into string. Karakuri has the Mochi Mochi no Mi, so his Awakening is to turn stuff into mochi. But maybe that's the wrong way of looking at it, and it's a bit too narrow fielded. Maybe what it is about coating once again, from Haki to Devil Fruits, maybe to Black Blades. Again, I'm not sure, but for now, Awakening. What if Awakening is just coating? When you think about it, again, it makes sense. Doflamingo is not exactly turning the buildings to string, but he's coating them in his Devil Fruit, which turns them into string. Karakuri is coating blocks and walls in his Devil Fruit, which is mochi, and that turns them to mochi. But what does this mean for other Devil Fruit users who have abilities and that are not exactly them making objects or making stuff such as string or mochi? How does it work there? I think when we take a general idea of coating, then it begins to make sense that everything at the end of the day is just being coated in a user's Devil Fruit. If we look at this, then all the way back in Marineford War, we may have already seen some of this going on. Whitebeard back then has a moment where he takes his Vicento or the Naginata, I'm not really sure what it's called, and he swings it, but before he does, it seems like it has a quake bubble around it. Of course, this is not, Whitebeard's weapon having eaten a Devil Fruit. This is, of course, Whitebeard using it with the Devil Fruit, but potentially coating his Devil Fruit on the weapon to then use in an attack. Which is quite similar to what we've seen, backed up by what we've seen when Law awoke recently, and Law then used the room onto his sword to then do attacks. So two users who use somewhat of a similar approach of quoting their weapons in their devil fruits. So now we have two who quote the surroundings in devil fruits and two who quote their weapons with devil fruits. But what about others? Are there any more? Well, by that logic, if we look at someone like Eustace Captain Kidd, then obviously we can see that maybe what he does is not only quote objects, but people. So now we've entered a new phase in the quoting business and what exactly it means and the creativity that Oda can go with simply just quoting. Right? Kidd assigns magnetism to other objects, so not just himself, he can assign it to people and quote people in his devil fruit via the use of magnetism, and do the same thing with objects and then make them attract or repel from each other. Right? So this is the same idea of quoting. And taking this as the basis, we can look and speculate about other characters, other Logia types who, for example, might be like Crocodile. Crocodile can then, as a Logia user who uses sand, turn other objects into sand. Possibly this is why he was stronger in Alabasta, because it was surrounded by sand. In Impel Down, he turns a door into sand by probably coating it in sand. Now I know, of course, this doesn't explain everything that's going on with characters like Big Mom. How does, for example, Big Mom coat herself in soul? Right? You can't really just, what does that look like? What would that be like? What about Zoan Devil Fruit users? What would they be like if they coated themselves in an animal? What would that achieve? How would that look like? And I think this is exactly where the creative mind of Oda would then step in and use the same concept but in interesting ways. When Kid and Law reveal their awakening, Big Mom then somehow uses her own soul and lifespan to then heal herself. She puts her own soul onto herself, almost coating herself with her soul and life expectancy to then heal and grow as if she's coating herself with the future strength that she will have. And then probably for people like Zorens, you can then take that a step further and say, maybe with Zorens, what it is when you actually awaken is, you coach yourself with that ability, but this is not the same coating as when you just change into a different animal, but maybe you're coating a specific part of you. Maybe you're coating your mind, your heart. There's very creative ways you can take this, and maybe that's what Chopper's monster point is. He coats himself, and that's why he couldn't control it at first, because he was too animalistic in nature, and there's something there. Of course, this is just me shooting at different things. Point is not that, now you can just say exactly what every Devil Fruit user is going to do, but you can see a trend and kind of speculate the direction in which it's going, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, Oda's always going to do stuff that surprises us, stuff we haven't thought about, but with this, you can see the main idea of what he's getting at. So if this has been interesting to you, then go ahead, tell me, what do you think about other future Devil Fruit users who you know about in the series? What do you think their abilities will be, how they'll use them, and potentially something very creative that, Oda may throw in that we wouldn't normally expect. Let me know all that and more down in the comments. Obviously, do the liking, subscribing thing, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching this video so much. If you know someone who needs to hear the truth, then please share this video with them. If not, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. This is King KZ, and I'll see you in the next video.